Hello students, greetings from Dr. S.R. Dandote. I welcome you to the 6th module of second week of the course Laser and Immutable Source. In the present lecture, we are going to discuss about Ruby laser. At the end of this lesson, learners will be able to understand principle, construction and working of Ruby laser. In last module, we have seen one of the types of lasers, that is semiconductor diode laser. The types of the laser depends upon the physical state of the active material used in it. Ruby laser is very first successfully operated laser which was fabricated by Memon in 1960. As the active material used in this laser is in the form of solid, this laser belongs to solid state type of laser and its characteristic feature is it is of pulse type that we will discuss in coming slides. The number of energy levels involved in the laser action is 3. The active system used is in the form of rod of ruby crystal itself. Chemically, it is the combination of aluminum oxide and chromium oxide. Active centers are chromium ions. That means the actual laser production is done due to de-excitation of chromium ions. It uses pumping source as optical pumping, that is xenon or krypton flash lamp. Optical resonator is in the form of completely and partially silvered end surfaces of rod. The output wavelength of this source is 6943 angstrom units, which is reddish pink in color, and the dimensions of the rod are its length is 4 to 8 cm and diameter is 0.5 cm. Now let us see how is its construction. It consists of ruby rod like this, and its ends are so silvered that one end is completely silvered and this another end is partially silvered. That means it fulfills the condition of optical resonator, and this entire assembly is kept inside one hard glass tube which has one inlet and one outlet in order to have constant circulation of coolant, because during the action of the ruby laser some heat is developed, and in order to overcome this heat the constant circulation of coolant is essential. The pumping source is in the form of helical flash lamp which surrounds the tube, and it is operated by means of this power source. So during the working of this laser, desired laser beam is produced inside this ruby rod, and that laser beam is given out of the surface which is partially silvered. So here we get the laser output. So this is how the construction. Let us now see how it works with the help of energy level diagram. So this is the energy level diagram of chromium ions which has 3 levels, that is ground state G, metastable state M which has lifetime of about 3 milliseconds, and this is excited state E which has lifetime 10 raised to minus 8 seconds. So this is the condition when the laser is off. So under this condition, means under normal condition, the electrons will stay in the ground state. We know that ground state has infinite lifetime. Alright. Now what will happen when we apply input? That means when the power is started, flash will be generated, and because of that absorption of intense light energy, electrons will be excited. See, electrons are excited from ground state to excited state E. Now as this excited state has short lifetime, hence during that period electrons will be de-excited. Electrons come to the state M which is metastable state, and this is called as non-radiative transition. It is very fast non-radiative transition. It means that there is no laser production during this transition, but the energy is liberated out in the form of heat. Now once the electrons reaches to metastable state, electrons will stay in this state for considerable period, that is for 3 milliseconds, and meanwhile number of flashes will be applied which transfers electrons from ground state to metastable state via state E. That means at particular time the concentration of the metastable state will be increased, and a state is so reached that the concentration of metastable state becomes greater than that of ground state. So if we consider here the concentration of this state, means population of this state is suppose N2 and the population of ground state is N1, then under this population inversion condition we will get N2 is greater than N1. So once this happens, there will be de-excitation of one electron at its own. That means it will result into spontaneous emission. And once the spontaneous emission process takes place, a photon will be emitted. And this spontaneously emitted photon triggers the stimulated emission. Means it will trigger another electron which is in the metastable state, and it will undergo de-excitation, and this process will result emission of 2 photons. Again, these 2 photons can trigger 2 more electrons, and they will be de-excited, and 4 photons will be emitted. 4 photons will result into emission of 8 photons, and this way the process is continued. So thus, one spontaneously emitted photon starts the process, and it continues further the number of stimulated emissions, which results into continuous increase in the number of photons. And these photons further undergo multiple reflections from the completely silvered and partially silvered end of ruby rod. Means this entire process takes place inside the rod, and once the sufficient intensity is achieved, then the desired laser beam is given out of the partially silvered end, which has wavelength 6943 angstrom units. That means this is desired laser output. So this way ruby laser works. Now let us see what is laser spiking. To explain this, we will consider a graphical representation. So on y-axis it is intensity, on x-axis time. So initially when laser is off, there is no output, no intensity, zero intensity. So once we start the laser, intensity increases like this. But at particular point, it reaches to maximum value, and after that it slowly decreases up to some level. So this decrease in the intensity is because of depopulation of state M, and this is due to absence of input. Means during this period, see, at this particular time, from this time up to this time, if we consider perpendiculars, this is very short time of the order of few microseconds. But during this period, flash is off, and because of that, population inversion condition is disturbed. After that, next flash comes, and again it establishes population inversion, intensity increases. It further decreases due to absence of the flash, and the process is repeated. Means continuously decrease and increase in the intensity takes place as long as the laser is on, and when it is further switched off, intensity drops down. So this way the output is in the form of spikes. These are the spikes, or in other words, it is termed as pulses. So output is of pulse type, it is not continuous. So this is one of the features of ruby laser. So this way we have discussed how this ruby laser works and what is its construction. In the next module, we will discuss about the next type of laser, that is ND-YAG laser. So wish you happy learning. Thank you.